After losing my job, I moved into my brother's basement temporarily. I did every chore, cooked all the meals, even tutored his kids for free. One morning, I overheard him whispering, "We should start charging her rent, she's getting too comfortable." That night, he slid a bill under my door demanding $1,200 by Friday. When I asked why, he said, "You're not family. You're just another mouth to feed." But 2 months later, guess who called me begging to co-sign his mortgage? After I lost my job last year, I didn't have many choices. I worked at a mid-sized company in Columbus, Ohio, for almost 12 years. I gave that place everything, late nights, skipped vacations, weekends glued to my laptop, but none of that mattered when they decided to downsize. One minute, I'm having coffee in the break room. The next, I'm packing my desk into a sad little cardboard box. I didn't have much saved. Rent prices in Columbus are no joke these days, and unemployment wasn't enough to float me for long. I swallowed my pride and called my older brother, Jason. We weren't super close growing up, but he said he had space in the basement. "Just until you get back on your feet," he told me. I was embarrassed, but grateful. The basement was half finished. Cold cement floors, one tiny window that looked out at dirt and weeds. I slept on an old futon that creaked every time I moved. No privacy, barely any heat, but it was a roof. I told myself it was temporary. I'd find a new job and be out within a couple of months. I didn't just sit around either. I wanted to earn my keep. Every morning, I'd be up before everyone else, brewing coffee, making breakfast, helping the kids get ready for school. Jason's wife, Monica, never lifted a finger. She'd just scroll on her phone while I made lunches and signed permission slips. After they left, I'd clean the whole house. Laundry, dishes, vacuuming, even scrubbing the toilets. In the afternoons, I helped their 2 kids, Mark and Lisa, with homework. Math, science projects, book reports, you name it. Sometimes, I'd cook dinner too, because Monica didn't feel like it after work. No one asked me to do all that. I just didn't want to feel like a burden. I thought, if I made myself helpful enough, they wouldn't resent me being there. Stupid me, thinking gratitude was automatic. One morning, about 2 months in, I was coming upstairs to start the coffee when I heard them talking in the kitchen. They didn't know I was there yet. Jason said, in this nasty, low voice, "We should start charging her rent. She's getting too comfortable." Monica laughed. "Yeah. She thinks this is her retirement plan or something." I froze. My heart sank to the floor. Everything I did, they didn't appreciate it. They saw me as a leech. I quietly backed down the stairs, too stunned to even cry. That night, I found an envelope slid under my basement door. Inside was a bill scribbled on notebook paper, $1,200 due by Friday. No breakdown of charges. No explanation. Just a number and a deadline. I went upstairs, the paper shaking in my hands. Jason was sitting on the couch, feet up on the coffee table. "What's this?" I asked. He didn't even look at me when he said, "You're not family. You're just another mouth to feed. It's time you contribute." I stood there, stunned silent. After everything I'd done. After all the free childcare, free housekeeping, free tutoring. I felt something inside me snap. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just nodded and walked back downstairs. That night, I applied for every job I could find, no matter how small. I also reached out to some old friends I hadn't spoken to in years. One of them, a guy named Vince, ran a little tech support company and was desperate for someone to help manage the phones and basic repairs. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid enough to get me out of that house. I started the next week. I packed my things quietly one morning while Jason and Monica were at work. I didn't leave a note. I didn't owe them that. The new job was rough at first. Long hours, low pay, weird customers. But Vince was a good guy, and he taught me a lot. Within a couple of months, I moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment. It was nothing fancy, just a worn-out place over a laundromat, but it was mine. I slept like a baby the first night without hearing kids screaming or Monica yelling about TikTok drama. Life started getting better. Slowly. Steadily. About 2 months after I moved out, I got a call from Jason. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. He started the conversation like nothing had happened. Small talk. Asking how I was doing. I kept my answers short. Finally, he cleared his throat and said, "Listen, we're trying to buy a new house." "Okay," I said. "And the bank says we need a co-signer. Our debt-to-income ratio is too high with Monica's car loan and, other stuff." I almost laughed right then and there. But I played it cool. "You want me to co-sign?" "Yeah," he said, like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I mean, it would just be for a little while. Until we refinance." I leaned back in my chair and smiled. "Let me get this straight," I said. "I'm not family when it comes to living in your basement. But I'm family when you want me to take on 6 figures of debt for you." He got quiet. Then he said, "Come on, don't be like that. It's not a big deal." I said no. Plain and simple. No explanation, no drama. Just no. Jason started yelling. Said I was selfish. Said I was ungrateful. Said I owed him and Monica for letting me stay those months. I hung up while he was mid-rant. I blocked his number after that. A few weeks later, I heard through the grapevine that they lost the house they wanted. Couldn't get approved without a cosigner. Ended up stuck in their old cramped place, with a new baby on the way, and a second car they couldn't afford. Meanwhile, I kept grinding at work. Vince promoted me to manager after 6 months. I saved up and moved into a better apartment closer to downtown Columbus. I even started dating again. My life finally felt like it was moving forward. Jason and Monica. Last I heard, they're still blaming everyone but themselves for their mess. And you know what? I don't feel bad. Not even a little. They made it crystal clear that, to them, I was just another mouth to feed. Well, mouths don't sign mortgages. Family does. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a brother anymore. About 3 months after I blocked Jason, life had finally found a rhythm. Work, gym, cheap takeout, Netflix, repeat. I wasn't rich, but I was stable. I even started taking night classes to get a tech certification that could bump my pay even more. Then one night, around 11 p.m., someone started pounding on my apartment door. I lived alone, so it scared the hell out of me. I grabbed my phone and peeked through the peephole. It was Jason. He looked rough. Sweaty, wild-eyed, desperate. I thought about not answering, but he started yelling my name loud enough that I was worried neighbors would call the cops. So, like an idiot, I cracked the door open with the chain still on. "You need to help me," he hissed. I didn't say anything. I just stared at him. "Please," he said. His voice cracked. I lost my job. Turns out, Jason had been fired 2 weeks earlier. Some misunderstanding at work, he said. Something about company credit cards. Knowing Jason, I had a pretty good guess it wasn't a misunderstanding at all. He was behind on bills. Monica was freaking out. Their car was about to get repossessed. They were even talking about filing for bankruptcy. "I just need a loan," he said. "Just enough to catch up. I swear I'll pay you back." I asked him how much. He said $8,000. I almost laughed in his face. I make decent money now, but $8,000 might as well have been $80,000. No way. When I told him no, he lost it. Right there in the hallway, pounding the door with his fists, calling me selfish, a traitor, a piece of garbage. Neighbors started poking their heads out. Somebody yelled to keep it down. I shut the door in his face and locked it. He stayed out there for a while, pounding and cursing, until eventually he left. But it didn't stop there. A few days later, I started getting weird messages on social media. Fake accounts sending me stuff like, family betrayer, hope you rot, you'll get what's coming to you. It didn't take a genius to figure out who was behind it. Then, even worse, Monica started calling my work pretending to be a concerned citizen, saying I was doing drugs, stealing, whatever garbage she could think of. Luckily, my boss Vince knows me and didn't believe a word of it. But still, it was humiliating. I realized something important then: desperate people are dangerous. I filed a police report for harassment. Changed all my passwords. Made my social media private. Vince even let me work from home for a while, just to be safe. Meanwhile, through a mutual friend, I found out Jason and Monica weren't just broke, they were about to lose the house. Foreclosure notices had started coming. Utilities were getting shut off one by one. Their credit scores were tanking. And still, they acted like it was all my fault. About a month after the midnight door pounding, I ran into Monica at the grocery store. I tried to turn and leave before she saw me, but she caught me by the freezer section. "You ruined our lives," she said, her voice shaking. I didn't say anything. I didn't owe her a single word. "You think you're better than us?" she shrieked. People were starting to stare. "You're trash. Always have been, always will be." I calmly pushed my cart past her, heart thudding so hard I could barely hear. But that night, something clicked inside me. I realized I didn't just want to escape them. I wanted them to understand they messed with the wrong person. I wasn't just the quiet little sister in the basement anymore. They wanted war. Fine. I wasn't scared of a fight. After that run-in with Monica, I couldn't stop thinking about how they treated me. It wasn't enough that they had used me, insulted me, and harassed me. Now they were trying to make me the villain in their sad little story. So I decided to hit them where it hurt, their money. Remember how I said I did everything around their house while I lived there? Cleaning, cooking, tutoring the kids. Well, back when I was desperate and scared about losing my own place, I kept receipts, literally. I had copies of texts from Monica and Jason asking me to help the kids with homework. Screenshots of them thanking me for handling everything when they went on weekend trips and left me behind with the kids. Even Venmo requests from Monica asking me to pick up groceries and supplies, since you're staying here rent-free. On advice from a lawyer friend, because at that point, I wasn't playing around, I filed a small claims case against them for unpaid labor. Nothing crazy, just a few $1,000s for what I could reasonably prove. Cleaning, childcare, tutoring. Time and supplies. I wasn't looking to get rich. I just wanted them to have to sit in a courtroom and explain why the family freeloader had actual proof she was an unpaid maid and babysitter. I filed it. I had them served. Jason flipped out. Blew up my phone. Left nasty voicemails. Threatened to ruin my life if I didn't drop it. I ignored him. Monica posted some sad, half-baked Facebook rant about betrayal and fake family without naming names, but everyone knew who it was about. Some people reached out privately, asking what really happened. When I told them, a lot of them quietly unfriended Monica. Court day came. They actually showed up, looking like hell. Jason had bags under his eyes. Monica looked like she hadn't slept in a month. They tried to argue that I was just staying there for free, that it was family helping family, but I had receipts. Literal and digital. Texts. Screenshots. Venmo history. Witness statements from neighbors who knew how much I was taking care of the house and kids. The judge didn't award me the full amount. Small claims judges are usually pretty middle of the road, but he did award me a little over $3,000. Jason and Monica didn't even have it. So the court set up a payment plan. $150 a month for over a year. Every month, a little reminder from me. Every month, a little bite out of their already sinking ship. After that, I thought things would quiet down. I was wrong. A few months later, one of Jason's kids, Mark, the older one, found me online. He was 14 by then. Old enough to start seeing things for what they really were. He messaged me privately. "Auntie, are you mad at me and Lisa?" he wrote. "We miss you." That hit me harder than anything Jason or Monica ever said. I told him the truth, carefully. "No, I'm not mad at you or your sister. I'm mad at the grown-ups who made bad choices." He said things had gotten worse at home. No heat sometimes. Not enough food. Monica screaming at everyone all the time. Jason drinking more. Mark was scared they were going to get evicted. I told him I loved him and his sister, but that I couldn't fix what their parents broke. It tore me up inside. Those kids didn't deserve any of this. But I also knew, I couldn't swoop in and save them. Not without getting dragged back into the toxic mess I fought so hard to escape. Then came the final twist. About a week after that message, I got a call from Child Protective Services. Someone had reported neglect at Jason and Monica's house. Neighbors had seen the kids wandering around outside in the winter without jackets. Had heard shouting and crying. Someone even saw Jason passed out drunk in the yard. CPS asked me if I knew anything. I told them the truth, I wasn't living there anymore. I didn't know what was happening day to day. But I mentioned the conversation with Mark, carefully, without throwing him under the bus. I don't know exactly what happened after that. But through mutual friends, I heard CPS did several home visits. Things didn't go well for Jason and Monica. At all. Last I heard, Monica's parents, who live a few towns over, stepped in and took the kids temporarily. Jason tried to fight it. Said they were fine. Said it was all lies. But no one believed him anymore. Not the courts. Not the family. Not the neighbors. He burned every bridge he had. Meanwhile, I kept my head down. Kept working. Saving. Healing. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder if Jason ever sits in that empty house and realizes who really was the one holding it all together. And how he threw it all away, for what? Pride? Greed? Ego? Maybe all of it. A few months after CPS got involved, things went quiet. Almost too quiet. Jason wasn't blowing up my phone anymore. Monica wasn't posting trash online. It felt like the storm had finally passed. Then, out of nowhere, I got a letter. A real paper letter, stuffed into my mailbox without a stamp, like someone dropped it off by hand. It was from Jason. It was short. Sloppy handwriting. Angry. He blamed me for everything. Losing the kids, losing the house, losing his job. Said if I hadn't turned on family, none of it would have happened. Said I was dead to him. Said he'd rather live under a bridge than ever ask me for help again. At the bottom, in all caps, he wrote, "You destroyed us." I crumpled the letter and threw it away without a second thought. But something about it gnawed at me for days. Part of me wanted to feel guilty. After all, Mark and Lisa were just kids. They didn't deserve to get caught in the crossfire between two angry adults. And a small, ugly part of me knew, I didn't just walk away from the fire. I poured gasoline on it too. I didn't have to file the small claims case. I didn't have to send receipts to CPS when they called. I didn't have to let the system chew Jason up until there was nothing left. But I did. Because deep down, I wanted him to suffer. I wanted him to feel as small and helpless as he made me feel when he shoved that $1,200 bill under my door like I was nothing. I thought taking everything from him would make me feel better. And for a while, it did. Until it didn't. A few weeks after the letter, I bumped into Mark again, this time in person. He was coming out of a CVS, hauling a bag of groceries that looked way too heavy for a kid his age. He looked thinner. Older. Harder. He recognized me right away and ran up, his face lighting up for just a second. "Are you coming to see us?" he asked, hopeful. I didn't know what to say. I just stood there like an idiot. "You don't have to stay away," he said. "Grandma said you're still family." Family. That word stabbed me deeper than anything Jason ever said. I knelt down so we were eye level. "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm so sorry for everything." He smiled a little and shrugged like it was no big deal. Like he was already used to adults making messes he had to live with. We said goodbye. He walked away, struggling under the weight of the groceries. I wanted to run after him. Buy him everything he needed. Fix everything I helped break. But I didn't. Because some damage can't be undone. And no matter how much I hated Jason and Monica, I had to face the truth. In trying to get revenge on them, I hurt the people who needed me the most. That was the last time I saw any of them. A month later, I heard Jason got arrested for DUI. No license. No insurance. Blew twice the legal limit. He ended up doing 6 months in county jail. Monica moved in with her parents permanently. She's basically their live-in maid now, working minimum wage, still trying to blame everyone else for her mess. The house they fought so hard to buy. Gone. Auctioned off for pennies. New owners gutted it. Painted over everything like Jason and Monica never existed. And me? I moved again. Got a better job. Finished my certification. I live in a decent place now, small but warm. No roommates, no basements, no drama. I finally have peace. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear Jason's words, "You're not family. You're just another mouth to feed." And sometimes I wonder who I really became after all this. Was I the victim? Or just another monster in a bigger story? I guess it doesn't matter now. Because at the end of the day, we all got what we deserved. Every last one of us.